Welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Big Blend Radio's Vacation Station Travel Show. Today, we're going to New Zealand's Tongariro Alpine Crossing. I hope I said this right. It's an unforgettable 12.1-mile trek that's often regarded as one of the top 10 one-day hikes in the world by the likes of National Geographic. And that is what Debbie Stone says in her article, and you can see it now on nationalparktraveling.com and also in the spring issue of Parks and Travel magazine. She just came back from northern New Zealand and she did the trek. So I think she gets a big kudos because looking at the photos, go check it out. Dude, seriously, this is not an easy hike, and it looks amazing. You know her here; she's on Big Blend Radio all the time, and in Big Blend Radio and TV magazine, as well as our Parks and Travel magazine. So we got to welcome back the Fire Monkey, because the Fire Monkey, we call her Fire Monkey for a reason, did end up in the volcanoes out there. So fire and volcano land. Did you have a good time, Debbie?
Oh my gosh, it was spectacular, just breathtaking and jaw-dropping and amazing. And this hike was a real stellar experience. Although I admit very sore experience, especially the day after.
Say, it looked challenging to say the least.
Well,
yes.
Really, when I looked at her, I went, "Man, dude, she's got something going that she's going to do that."
Like I said in my story, it's like that was like my husband's. He, like his dream to do this particular hike, and of course, I was like, "Oh, this would make a good story provided I finish." And I said that we decided to join a guided group, not only to get something more out of it, because I do like to learn about the whole scene and landscape and geology and all that kind of stuff, but also because if I am a part of a group, as my husband says, I don't complain as much.
That's funny.
That's it.
That's a good
idea.
You always tend to take the guided adventures, but you really learn a whole bunch more when you have someone explaining what you're looking at. I mean, if you're looking here, you're going through this lava landscape, like it looks like you're on the moon with that dark, rock and the dirt, and then you look down and it's like these pristine pools of blue water that are like, they belong in Fiji, which I know you went to as well on this adventure in New Zealand for a while. And I'm like, if you don't know what it's about, you think, oh, that's really beautiful, but you don't have that basis.
No, you don't. And this really puts you in such a different, it's a really eerie, stark in places landscape, and it's just otherworldly. And, and when you're there, you're like, whoa. And it was used in The Lord of the Rings. Peter Jackson, the director, used part of it. In fact, one of the volcanoes he labeled Mount Doom, and then also the Gates of Mordor. And it's like you go in there and you're thinking, gosh, he was spot on. This really does feel, it's like that kind of overwhelming sense of, doom or something as you're, and there are parts of the hike where it really did feel overwhelmingly doom-like for me. But as I'm struggling up some volcanic landscape, mountain hill, trying to get to the top of the red crater, and it's like, you just are like, whoa, but it really is such an amazingly unique landscape, and the hike to me is really one of those, special, and it is one of the top hikes, and I consider it, for me, it was a great challenge, but with so much reward to it.
Well, when you finish something like that, you got to go, man, I'm cool. I'm the coolest.
Did you have wine at night at the end?
I couldn't even. Believe me, I was.
You went to bed.
Got back and I took a shower and just fell into bed, and it was that. The next morning you wake up and you're really sore because that's when it hits you.
Yeah.
And I was like to my husband, I said, we need to find some hot springs. I need to sit in the hot water. So we did. We found some wonderfully natural hot springs and mud bath, and that really, really helped because I just needed to just kind of soak.
Yeah.
Where is, because this is all happening in Tongariro National Park. I got to get this right.
Right, which is in the northern, and kind of in the mid part of the North Island of New Zealand, and it is the park itself, which was established in 1895, was the first national park for New Zealand, but it's also
cool.
it was also the first park in the world that was gifted from an indigenous people. The Maori gave it to the country, and it is known
That's
as
cool.
a dual World Heritage Area because not only because of the volcanoes, but because of the Maori culture. And there's all sorts of ancestry and legends, and there's one that talks about how the mountains there were once these gods and these warriors, and one of them was a beautiful woman, and the other mountains that were supposedly male were really infatuated with her, and they all wanted to be with her, and they decided to have this kind of battle for the right to win her. And so they did, and the battle consisted of volcanoes, the eruptions of smoke, the the fire, the lava,
That's
blah,
cool.
the quaking and earthquakes, and then when it ended, the one was the winner, Tongariro, and so he got to win to be next to her forever, and the others had to go other places, so they went in other places, and wherever they went, they had one night to decide, and wherever they went would be where they would eternally stand. In that park, there are two other volcanoes. There's Tongariro and Ruapahu and Nugra. I can't even pronounce it. Nugraho, I think. And those three are the main volcanoes that you'll see.
Wow.
And Ruapahu, I believe, was the one that Peter Jackson labeled as Mount Doom.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Or maybe it was, I think it was Ngauruhoe, whatever. The other one that has the Ngauruhou, that was Mount
Ngauruhoe.
Yeah.
We just
Oh,
want to
gosh.
say all these words.
I know, massacre the language,
I know, but the Maoris, I mean, giving up their land for a national park is pretty special. I mean, I think about, the history of here in America and us taking land away from our Native Americans, families out here. And then, I wouldn't want them to give it back. I'm like, take what you can, get it. But it's, so this is a very special thing when you're there in New Zealand and learning these legends. Did it connect with you having just been to Oahu and to the Polynesian Cultural Center
Yes,
and everything?
it did. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Very much so, both when I was on Fiji and in New Zealand, because it's, it's that Pacific Rim, that whole culture, and there's a lot of similarities. And so, yes, very, very much so. We kept thinking about that with Hawaii and some of the Polynesian, the language and just, the way they label things, or their legends and their stories. And so, yes, there was a lot of commonalities.
And also,
I think it's really cool when you're like an ancient person and you think of them looking at all these things that happen in nature, like shooting stars and hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanoes, and trying to make sense of it, and not having like all the science we have, and just like there must be gods, or something.
Sure, and that's that they believed that the result of the landscape was formed because of the gods, these battles, or these whatever that they were involved with, these stories and these events, and so this is what transpired and what created this particular type of landscape. And it's very sacred. Those peaks are very sacred, and so as are the bodies of water. So you're not allowed to go in them or to go up certain of those peaks. They are not to be touched by humans.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
So. It also looks to me like, we've done so many interviews with artists that are in residency with the National Parks Arts Foundation in Hawaii, the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. And it's always fascinating to me what, the outcome of their photos, their paintings, that kind of thing. And you have this crazy dark, lava rock and the volcano side, and then you'll go around and it's lush. And so it seems like you had that kind of different experience too. It's like lava land, emerald pools and lakes, and then you have forest and the Scottish moor country. I mean, what the heck?
I know. It's just, you start in that like Scottish moor area, and also you're starting, and it's relatively easy, so you're feeling okay. But you do know that there is more to come, and then you
Yeah.
get to the whole volcanic area and the Devil's Staircase and the climbing to the Red Crater, and then going down from the Red Crater on this very slippery, scree-like surface, and then you get to those wonderful, incredible iridescent emerald pools, and then you're going through the lake, and then by the lake, and then you get to the place where all of a sudden you're going down and winding through this endless passages where you're going through forested area, and so the landscape is just so diverse in this one hike. It's just
Wow.
you can't believe that in one hike in the course of a day that you go through these different landscapes.
Wow, that's
Man,
amazing.
you're
That's
making me
amazing.
tired.
I know. But now I heard that you smelled some rotten eggs.
Yes,
Whoa.
because of the sulfur, that's
Sulfur,
there,
yeah.
the sulfur dioxide gas, which is there, and there's, I mean, this is these are active areas. They're part of that Pacific Ocean Ring of Fire, and they
Mm.
had eruption in 1995, and 1996, 1977, and a little bit in 2012, and so there are these, there's these active fumaroles. There are these, this boiling, bubbling, cauldrons of water. I mean, it's the steam and the, all that is
Mm.
akin to volcanoes, and it's there, and
Yeah.
so you smell it, you see it, and so you really understand that this is really an active area.
You said fumarole.
You know,
That's a
I
big word. For me, I'm saying fumarole. You see,
fumarole.
I'm waiting for Yellowstone because don't they have fumaroles?
Yes, they
Yes,
do, and
they
it's
I'm
just
do.
sorry,
those
childish. To me, if
kind of like
something
a
smells
steam
like,
vents, and the steam
Yeah.
vents that come through, and the
yeah,
little holes, and yeah, and it's just it's like it's
it's neat.
really, it is very, very neat, and you do feel like you're on a different planet when you are in that type of landscape. I mean, when I was at the Craters of the Moon, and then when I was in Lassen
Yeah,
Volcanic
Yeah.
Park, I mean, I've done a lot of volcanoes this year, and I'm thinking, okay.
fire monkey,
Well,
but that goes with the
okay,
fire
but
monkey.
no,
Yes.
I always feel like the more tarmac we lay down and the more, the plants we clear and put up houses, the bigger and meaner the volcanoes are getting. You know what I mean? It's like what used to be here and the energy is going to shift over there, and the volcanoes are like really angry.
Yeah, it's definitely, and I know in New Zealand, there's active, I mean, the fault line, and in places they would tell you you're right near the fault line, and we have been told that it can go off at any time,
Mm.
and they
Mm-hmm.
expect a big one to be coming, and
Oh,
it's just what
yikes.
the geologists, what they know, and so it's
Mhm.
kind of like, okay, well, I hope the big one does not happen when I'm right here,
But it's
Yeah, so you get
fascinating.
in
There is
there, take
something
your pictures,
fascinating
and
there.
move on.
Yes.
I don't want people to get hurt or animals and things, but
No.
it is absolutely fascinating. Like Pinnacles National
Hmm.
Park in Central California. Have you
Yes.
been there? Have you
Yeah, a
done
long
that?
time ago. Yes, yes.
It's so fascinating, that whole thing. And
Oh,
even the communities like Hollister, they have a geology walk. And it's
Mm.
really about like you're walking on the San Andreas Fault. And
Yeah,
yeah,
and
yep.
we don't want to scare people, but it's cool.
It
it's
is.
like
It's
I could
amazing to me.
split anytime I want.
Oh,
Right,
I know
right.
you're going to do the splits at some
Yeah.
point in these places,
It's
but doesn't that go to like when you think about the moon and everything on Mars and all of these places, doesn't when you go to places like this, doesn't that kind of when people talk about all these, other planets, don't you kind of take that visual and put it there, especially
yes.
if you've been there?
Hmm.
Yes, and
Yeah.
in some of those national parks, I think I mentioned, like in Craters. I mean, the Apollo astronauts used it for training grounds, and I know in Iceland there are places that they've used for astronauts for training that they think will simulate certain surfaces on certain planets, whether it's the moon or
Yeah.
Mars, that kind of thing. So
Yeah, for
yes,
sure.
so
Yeah.
it is what we use to think about what else is out there.
Mm.
Mm.
So I
Wow.
want to give out the websites for people going to New Zealand to check this out. And even if you're in New Zealand, go check it out. Tongariro crossing.org.nz. So that's Tongariro crossing.org.nz. Don't forget, Debbie's articles up on nationalparktraveling.com. You can just go to our expert, section, or just type in Debbie, New Zealand, you'll find it. But you went on the company, the guide company. Tell us about that, because it sounds like your guide was playing trickery with you to just keep going and pushing on.
Well, I do know better after having taken some guide hikes, but somehow you really do want to trust the guide, of course. But this guide in particular, his name was Connor, and the company is Adrift Tongariro, and they specialize in doing these guided walks of the national park in various areas, including the crossing. But Connor, we had a whole lot of laughs with him, because he would use what I would call guide speak, which is kind of that rah, like get your clients moving, get them going when the going gets tough, and it's like, tell them, well, it's one, it's the last push, it's the final push, it's one more push, whatever, or it's over there, it's over the mountain, or across or around the bend, or whatever it is. And it's like, I mean, as a parent, I remember telling my kids, it's like, they would be like, are we there yet? And I'd be like, oh, just another block, or just around the corner,
That's in South Africa, it's just now. Everything is just now.
Just now, exactly. And so, but mentally, if you think it is the final push, you will give it what you've got to make it there, and you'll kind of muster up that energy that you need. And so you do want to trust the guide, you really do, but you do know better, because after him saying it's the last push, and he keeps saying it's the last push, and you realize, no, it's not the last push, And so it was kind of like we all kind of just would groan, and it was like, we wanted to stage a mutiny, basically. But it's like we were kind of like, okay, so you're at a certain point, and you can't turn back. You just have to keep going,
Oh wow, I know you're done on that. It's interesting, because you've done so many big treks. You've done the, when you were doing the Appalachian Trail, part of that.
Yes, or the Grand Canyon, or
these epic day-long, like 4 or 5 days. So this is one that's like really pushing you in one day, 8 hours of hiking through various terrains, up, down, all around, and you're in a different country, and it's like it's different, right? So hats to you. I want to say a big thank you, because when you started your trek here, you were in New Zealand, and we started our, we have our 1 hour walk Facebook group, but we, on our Big Blend community, started a challenge to see if we all together can create, do 2020 hours of walking in 20 months.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And when you came on board, you're like, you emailed me,
I got it.
Here, check this out. I got 8 hours, and check this out. I was like, check it out, people. I was like, dude, come on, beat that, And you don't have to do what Debbie did, but go try stuff like that. It's so cool. I think there's something like you're really proud of something like that. It's one of those life memories that you
absolutely. Absolutely.
So but thank you. We want our whole we're doing good with that, and so we're waiting for your next
Oh, yes, I've been resting on my laurels. I need to get off my stuff and start doing.
Well, apparently we're going to be chatting with you in the near future about how many days did you go on a walkabout?
For about 2 weeks. So
that's
there you go.
I want your hours.
Put those hours in.
I know. Everywhere I go, like someone's taking it on, I'm like, I want your hours. We got to get to 2020 in 20 months. I want your hours.
What is the tabulation now?
Oh, I can't even. We're like at 1900, I think.
Ooh.
Something like that. Our friend Jim Ostick, he's the one who walked across the country, cycled the perimeter. He's on his challenge. This is where this one started. It's his fault. He started the challenge for himself, because he's like that. He can't sit still.
Right.
He has to do 2020 miles.
Oh my gosh.
And he's doing it, and so he's adding at least 2 hours a day. Nancy and I are pretty much at least 4 to 5 days a week doing 2 hours between us a day. And then people pop in and out, and now we have a new one, which is Find Your Nature Connection View, because of the importance of being out in nature. Even if it's your patio or your local park, to just chill out, because America, we need to chill the hell out and have a
Yes.
good time.
Yes.
And nature proof, they even say just one photo of nature can calm you down and lower your blood pressure and do all these amazing things for you. So now we're doing 2020 views in 20 months.
Wow. Wow.
So
Very, 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 very marvelous goals to have, I think.
it's crazy. We got more coming. So gardens, public art, so everybody stay tuned. We have more coming because it's about quality of life. And Debbie, definitely, I think we should all aspire to do this hike through the Tongariro crossing. I like saying that. Again, everyone, the article is in the spring issue of Parks and Travel magazine. It is just go to nationalparktraveling.com. You'll see it there too. And of course, thank you all for listening here on Big Blend Radio. We're here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, except for holidays. And we always love to play music for you, our audience. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Debbie, Fire Monkey. Of course, because you're in New Zealand and close to Australia and you are walking, we have to play music from the Walkabout Band.
Oh, gosh, of course.
We've played them before, and I know we've played this before, but I had to do it because I know you went to Fiji, you went to New Zealand. I know more is coming up, so we have to play Traveler from the first album by the Walkabout Band, and I want to give them a shout out because I believe it's April 22nd they have a new album out, so more shenanigans will be happening on Big Blend Radio with the boys, the Walkabout boys.
Awesome.
So here it is,
We like our
Walkabout
walkie
Band.
boys.
We do. Walkaboutband.com. They go barefoot like I do. So before you go, Fire Monkey, where's the next destination since we're playing Traveler? I have to ask.
I will be heading in spring to the East Coast to do, Salem, Massachusetts, and the witch trials. And I will also be doing Maine. I will be going up to Bar Harbor and Acadia National Park.
Oh my gosh.
So,
You're doing Acadia.
I have relatives there. I have witchy relatives that got.
Ooh.
So does our friend Glenn. His great aunt or something is related to
that's right.
one of the witches. Yeah.
Yeah, so that should be really cool, I think.
Well, you enjoy. And here it is, everybody. Traveler. Thanks so much, Fire Monkey.
Thank you.